So, and of course it's going to take only a few drones to do that, because most of the species or most of the genome is already the right one.
Yeah.
So you only have to worry about one most likely. This rain.
I know, that's like the second lot of rain. Rude. Can't you
With
see we're recording?
daytime or nighttime. I think it's getting daytime, of course.
I think it is, isn't it? I don't think we can... Oh, might be able to. Possibly.
You're in the ground.
Am I? That didn't work.
You're using the
sleeping bag.
Yeah. I can try sleeping inside the house to help. I'm in the bed.
Yay! Come on, stop now.
There we go.
Oh.
Stop.
Come on, shh, hush. That decided not to work, never mind.
So, yeah, that is beekeeping 101. And basically what you want to do is probably the next thing to inform you of. If you look up the imperial bee,
Okay, yep.
there you will see the imperial bee requires you to have a noble princess and a majestic drone. Now it is such that you get the noble princess and then you use the noble princess to get the majestic. Once you have the majestic, you use those two together to get the imperial. So the noble comes from a common princess and a cultivated drone, and that can give you either a noble strain or it can give you a diligent strain.
Okay.
Both of those are important, but we take the noble first. The noble princess, if you combine that with the cultivated drone again, you have a chance of getting the majestic strain.
Right, okay.
So common plus cultivated gives noble. Noble plus cultivated gives majestic. Noble plus majestic gives imperial. Now, if you look up industrious princess, she is made of the diligent princess and the unwary drone. And again, the unwary is made with the diligent, and the diligent is a result of common plus cultivated. The unwary is diligent plus cultivated.
Got you.
And diligent plus unwary gives industrious. And these two bees are the first advanced bees that you want to go after. But I'm not going to include it in your homework because you probably won't have time for that. But if you want, you can start working towards it.
Definitely.
But most likely you will have enough to do with what you have at the moment.
Indeed. So we need to purify...
Yeah, purify your meadows.
My meadows, yep. Breed a common.
Get yourself enough princesses to start... Well, enough drones and enough princesses to start trying to get your common. Purify your common. And then try to get yourself a cultivated.
Perfect. Well, I think that's doable.
And it might be a good idea. I don't know how much we have been going on for now. How long have we been talking?
About 50 minutes. We're really good at this, aren't
we? If we have... We can talk about... what is it called? Automation.
Okay.
Because once you have, for instance, if your forest drones here are pure, then you can just set up the automation and you will just generate drones, and then you have enough basically always when you want to use them.
That's not a bad idea. So will they go in a cache?
Yeah. So I think the easiest way to do that is to go to my place to have a look, because I've already set it up and you probably don't have the resources ready at hand.
Probably not just yet. Let's.
So we can use the last 10 minutes or so to talk about that.
Sounds good to me.
So let's hop over there.
So we had a bit of a weird thing happening with my armour earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, it's still rainbow armour.
Bizarre.
Bizarre. I think the vanilla Texas has messed up for me. I think I need to reload stuff. Because suddenly lady just turned into a rainbow coloured box.
Oh, it was a very pretty rainbow coloured box.
Oh, this is my my baker friends, by the way.
Hi.
Let me grab something for you. And then you can see what they do. So, if I take some wheat and stick it inside this chest.
Oh, they give it to each other. Oh, that's so cute.
This little fella, he will put it inside the table, and this little fella, he will bake.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so
a little
so
bit
sweet.
of a silly thing, but yeah.
I love that.
Now the only thing is, these are just normal golems, so they can only use simple patterns, which means that they can use a 2x2 pattern, or if it is the same item, they can use a 3x3. But otherwise they won't be able to craft it. Otherwise you need to use advanced golems, and I'm not sure I want to do that. I love how they run around each other like that.
Very sweet.
I do have one of those, and I do have some of these. Okay, so let's see here. Let's grab these here.
So what's this thing? A teleport plate?
Yeah, that goes to T-Snows.
Ah, okay.
Where did I stick my apiaries? No, I have some somewhere. I looked at them earlier. Trying to remember where I put them. But yeah, these here, those are the bee boxes, and if you look in them, they don't have the frames. So you can't use those for the for those things. But if we go out here, we'll just borrow one of these. Let's see. Get the frames out of you. Put them in here for now. So, if we go up here, for instance, just so it's not quite as cluttered, then what you want to do in order to automate a hive is you want to use item ducts. You can probably use other things as well, but I like the item ducts. So make an L like this.
Okay.
At the bottom here, put a servo. That servo, stick it to a stack size of 1, and then do a low signal, so it's always turned on.
Okay.
Then we will take the apiary, and that's basically it. Now the only problem right now, it would overflow and eventually probably start killing bees, which is not what we want.
Definitely not.
So we need to have a cache for the drones, and that needs to sit here at the same point where it goes into the apiary again, because it will like go each way.
Okay, so if
it will make sure, at least if you have at least a fertility of 2, there will always be drones inside, but preferably you would want fertility 3. Always go for fertility 3, I think. because then you will end up having a full stack in here and just the rest will just go in here.
Got you.
So just stick the drones in there, lock it to the drones.
So if there's space basically in the apiary, they'll go to the apiary. If the space in the apiary is filled,
When it's
they'll go
like
to the cache.
this, they will go either way, shift one way or the other. So it will go one way, this way one time, then this way. So if you have a fertility of 2, they should go one into here and one into here.
Okay.
Which means there should always be drones in here. But I usually give it an extra buffer of drones just in case. So you have one cache for your drones, which of course needs to be pure, otherwise they can't go into it,
Yeah.
which is the trick. And then you need to have a cache for every produce that they produce. And that depends on the bees, and your bee ELISA will tell you that. If you look inside number 3 inside your bee ELISA, you can see what they can produce. So, of course, some of the bees produce more things. But you can see over here, for instance.
So it's like a honeycomb is a possibility with...
Yeah, the meadow and forest just produce
Just
honeycombs.
Yeah.
But that's not bad, because the honeycomb is good for honey.
Yeah.
So you're going to need an abundance of honey. But here, for instance, we have the tropical drone, which will also produce silky combs. Then if we go over here instead, here we actually have the beginning of the Industrious and the Imperial branch.
Oh.
Here we have the Unwary, the Diligent, the Majestic and the Noble. And you can see that they produce the stringy combs and the dripping combs. Now the difference is the Imperial and the Industrious bees, they also produce an extra thing, so they are up there, but they basically just have an extra cache attached that will pull that out. But that's basically how you automate.
That's actually quite easy as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so the only thing you need to make sure of is that the drones is on the same level, or like at the same distance from the hive, or the apiary.
Yeah.
So it needs to both be 1 to the connection. And then you also need to make sure that the server first of all is switched on, and also that it is what is it called, set to a stack size of 1.
Of 1, yeah.
Now if you ever want to stop your apiary running, you want of course your bee to finish the cycle. The smartest thing to do is just to switch off the servo, and that will cause it to stop.
Okay, yeah.
And that's basically what I'm doing up here. Over here.
Oh.
We need to find a way that you can actually get through, because you can't jump as high as I can. Right over here.
Okay, there we go.
So these here are now not any longer. We should probably sleep for a moment. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so these things, these are my purifiers, and they're based on the same design. We have the servo at the bottom, which will pull out anything that gets made inside, and then it will pull it up to the top. And the only thing is, anything or any drones that would be pure, like what you do is you put a stack of drones, or I usually do a 3/4 stack of drones in the apiary.
Yeah.
And together with some princess, what then happens is that it will pull out the drones and the princess. We have the filter here which denies the rocky princess, and we have it set to ignore the NPT and ignore metadata. I can't remember which one it is it actually uses, but it needs to be this level of filter, like the reinforced, before it can actually do that.
Got you.
So any princess inside there will be detected as a princess because we ignore the extra data. And then it will always go into the hive. So the princess will always go in there. Any drones that are not pure will be pushed inside the chest. Any drones that are pure will go either way. So once they are pure, you will see a stack start building up inside the chest, and you will also see the stack inside the apiary start to increase again.
Got you.
And that's basically the whole idea.
Well, that's,
so basically
again,
basically the idea here is just to be able to run these, and then you get more of the type of bee you already have. And that's very useful when you want, for instance, to make more common princesses to get further mutations. Because you don't just want to get a common princess and then go on, because as you remember, you're going to need common bees to go to the next step too. So always keep a pristine princess at least, preferably two, and drones, so that you can always make more.
Perfect.
And the trick here is, because we have it set to activate on low, we can flip this, and at the moment it would just stop pulling things out, and it would stop. So if I go in here and look and say, oh, they are pure, then I can flip it off and they will stop running. I can test, are they truly pure, and then I can accept them and use them for further breeding. Well, that's basically what I do.
That works, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm amazed at how simple it actually is.
If you look inside this chest here, you can also see the soul frames.
Okay, yeah. So they've got a durability on them then.
Yeah, all frames has a durability. Of course, the regular frames that you can make, they're cheap. They don't require impregnated sticks, but they have a shitty durability. The impregnated frames are slightly better. The best frames, durability-wise, is the proven frames, but they cannot be used to make soul frames.
Right, got you. So they're literally, yeah.
Yeah, they're just a resource that you can use to get more combs, basically, which is still very nice.
It is, especially when you need the honey.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, always have a surplus. So if you start up, or if you first get your meadows purified, and make sure, of course, your forest is also purified, then you can set those up for automation, which will give you an abundance of drones, also an abundance of honeycombs. If you get yourself another princess of them, you can run them side by side. If we look down here, I have an example of that. This one here is my lavender bees. They produce honeycombs, and they produce pink tinted combs. And I basically have them running side by side here, so that there is so there's always there's always two princesses running, because then I get a lot of them.
I can see like little tiny bees flying in between the apiaries.
Yeah, that's the effect that you will see as the apiaries are running, and the bees going out and working. And once you really start getting into things and getting in the mood for breeding, there's always free breeding to start.
Hey.
That's what I'm doing here. Pollinated with apple oak.
Apple oak, sugar maple leaves.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically what happens is you have two types of trees that the bees will touch. That will also pull in butterflies and moths.
Ah, see how we saw the
And they
butterflies?
will then pollinate the trees. So this one here, for instance, this is sugar maple leaves that are pollinated with silver lime. And that has a chance of becoming a red maple leaf once we break it. But we will probably want to use a grafter to do it.
Okay. Very cool.
And the reason for doing that is that I need it for my biomass cell. So, yeah. You might not need it, but it's still fun.
Yeah, no, it just amazes me, the stuff you can actually do.
Mm-hmm. And you can make a lot of things. I mean, if you look inside the NEI, just type princess. You can see all the different kinds of princesses you need. And I actually can't make all of them yet because I'm missing several base bees. So
Wow.
yeah, some of them I just can't make.
Spidery princess.
I think they make string. I think.
Skulking princess. There are some great names in this, aren't there?
Brainy princess. That produces brains. There's also one that produces mob and player heads.
Oh, fantastic. There's so many.
Fluix crystals.
I see, now that's always helpful.
I don't know what that's for, but I can
So
make
the ones
it.
with the dyes and everything that I know you've been working on your dyes ones, haven't you?
Yeah, I have the white, the blue, the red, and the pink.
Perfect.
The white was only made so that I can get my pink.
I wonder what a rockin' princess does then.
A rockin'?
Yeah.
Rocky or...
Oh no, rockin'. As in rockin'. It's kind of got a really nice kind of... It almost looks like it's enchanted. Page 2, 4th row from the bottom, left hand side.
There it is. Rockin' Queen. I usually just search for princess because then I only get one of each of them. But let's see. It is made from the grounded princess and the earthen drone. The earthen drone I'm currently working on. And what does it give? It gives earthy comb and it gives petroleum dust.
Ooh.
Which can be used to make tectonic petroleum, which can be put into buckets, and that looks about it.
Well, okay, that sounds ideal. I'll make a few of them then.
I don't know what that's actually for. It might be something...
There's probably something somewhere. Oh, there's a poultry princess. A big bad princess, that sounds...
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
They're great.
But yeah, if you want to look at my current progress, I said I'm working on the ethereal up here near the cave. I'm working on the ethereal at the moment. That's my current project because that's the basis for the magic bees.
Okay.
But if you look inside these chests over here, the bottom one here and then the one on top.
I know these are the apiarist chests, aren't they?
So here I have the common princesses, or the common bees, the cultivated bees. I have the ebony, the Prussian, the steadfast, the bleached, the maroon, the forest, meadows, watery, valiant, the excited, which is the redstone bee, the diligent, the unwary, the noble, the majestic. You can see I need some noble drones in here. The rural, a family, fermented and caffeinated, which I also need to add. And then on top I have the mystic, unusual, attuned, eldritch, esoteric, charmed, mysterious, enchanted, and the arcane and the supernatural drones, which I'm currently turning into ethereals.
Wow. I like those.
Just a couple.
Just a few.
Still a few to go. Now you'll notice the steadfast. The steadfast is actually what is it called? An extinct type of bee, which we talked a little bit about.
Yeah.
Basically, you get the steadfast bees from dungeons, and once you have gathered enough, you can breed yourself a steadfast princess. Now, if you don't have enough already, you can get some of me because I have enough.
Wow, thank you very much.
You can easily make more of those if you need to. Let me just see. I think I'm still running them actually. Steadfast here I have 2,831 drones.
Goodness me.
We should be able to purify a couple of
Yeah,
princesses.
I'd say you think so.
But yeah, that's beekeeping, and that's probably enough of my babbling.
Oh, that was very, very, very interesting. Thank you very much. That's going to be a good thing to be getting on with. And it's probably quite a nice way of getting used to sort of analysing stuff and learning to purify things and before we get all complex.
And if you look inside the other thing we made, the Apiarist database, you get a little bit of an information of all the different bees you have met.
Okay.
All the ones you have analysed. And if you look inside of it, you won't see it most likely because you don't know the common strain yet. But the common bees is considered the beginner apiarist badge of participation.
There we go.
While the cultivated is fast-working bee, thinks anything but opera is beneath it.
I love it. They have their own little...
Yeah. They all have a little bit of an interesting twitch.
I like that. I like it. It just gives you just a little bit of a hint, doesn't it, as to what they're like. Very cool.
Yeah, it can be fun to sit and peruse that little brochure.
So I've got a valiant bee.
It is also an overview of what you have discovered, rather than going into the other one and needing a bee.
Yeah.
You can go in and see the fermented here. Well, the fermented, it has some information, it has some classification, which is the family, it has some common strains, what is the usual for it, what it produces, what climate it works in, where you actually get a little bit more information. Oh, we actually need to talk about that. And then we have how you get it, basically. So if you ever need to remember that, then this will tell you.
Perfect.
But one more thing we need to look at before we call it off is the climate and the humidity.
Right. Yes.
So if we go out here, we need to find one that is actually running. I don't think... Yeah, these steadfast bees down here, they are nighttime workers. So if you look inside the steadfast apiary here, then on the right side you see a blue cell.
Yes.
If you click on that, it says temperature is 79%.
Yeah.
And humidity is 40. Now, if your bee doesn't like the current climate, it will tell you it is too cold, or it is too hot, or too dry, or too moist. And then you have a problem. You need to find a different place to breed them, or you need to set up an alveary where you can change the climate.
Okay.
Which is what I'm doing with my tropical drones, but it takes a lot of energy to do that. And the other one that I'm setting up there is for modest bees, but I don't think I can breed those without having what is it called? Having to use lava, and I'm not sure I'm willing to do that.
Yeah, I remember you saying about that you've got to.
They want it dry, and I think the only way to do that is to use a hydro-regulator with lava. Yeah, a little bit of an ass.
Just a touch.
But yeah, I think that's everything.
Perfect.
And of course, if anything is uncertain, or you forget something, or I forgot something, just let me know, and I will give you a refresher or answer your questions.
Brilliant. Well, no, as always, you've been an absolute star. I've learnt lots again today. So thank you. And Bob thinks so as well. Don't you, Bob? But no, I really appreciate it. It's dead helpful for me, dead helpful for anybody else who's wanting to get into the whole bee thing as well.
Yeah, I hope so. I find it a lot of fun. I have spent... I'm more grown up about it now, but I have spent entire nights sitting and breeding bees. You're sitting at 6 o'clock in the morning. I should go to bed, but just one more.
Just one more. Come on, just one more. It's going to do it. Oh, brilliant. Well, there we go. So, I hope everybody enjoyed the episode. I hope you all found it as informative as I did, and yeah, you're all going to get to see my efforts with my homework. So yeah, fingers crossed it should all be coming together very nicely, but I think we've got good basis to get going on.
I hope so.
So yes, I think we shall call it an episode. So thank you all very much for watching, and we shall see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.
Bye.